Bola deko Basuka nini horonya ye Nimiku mimanya Okamu sinanya
August 26th at 10:30 has been postponed. And on top of that, every hearing that I'm supposed to have has been postponed, which the irony of it is I get to be out here more. I don't know. You know, I get to have a little more time to collect my defense. Excuse me, but there really isn't much defense to collect except for to say that, you know, I'm innocent and it's obvious. I don't live at the address that they say I lived at. I should have never been taken to jail. I've heard it from a million different lawyers. But they are postponing the hearing. It is going to be in October now, which is crazy because my trial, when I do take this to trial, would have been in November. So we're looking at a month's difference of the case being dismissed. And yes, I am anticipating the case being dismissed as soon as that hearing occurs.
Now, when they arrested you, did they tell you your charges?
No, when they arrested me, they never told me my charges, and they never showed me a warrant. I wasn't even inside the residence that they had a warrant for. I was actually outside of it. I was on the back deck with my dog. And they never told me anything until I was already in the Crawford County Jail, and a day and a half later, they said, you know, here's your warrant and the probable cause, and here's what you're being charged for. But I didn't really know anything up until that.
Well, that's a lot unlawful to do that.
Yeah.
You have to tell someone to be arrested.
It is. Well, it's unlawful to do just for that short period of time. And when you're serving a warrant, they're supposed to knock, and they're supposed to knock and announce law, it's called. And then they do have a warrant called no knock warrant, where if they think there's a threat inside the house, they can kick your door in. But the warrant that was typed out that I received and that my boyfriend received is a knock and announce warrant, which means instead of ramming the door in, they should have knocked and said, this is the Meadville City Police, yada, 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 and waited for someone to open the door for them, but they decided not to do that.
They just rammed the door automatically.
Yeah, just like on TV. The newspaper printed an article about it, and the neighbor says, he's like, you know, it was crazy. It was just like on TV. And although we all like to watch cable, just like on TV is not how the law actually is run.
Yeah.
You know, you can't think because you saw a couple episodes of Law and Order that you know the law, because that's absolutely
well, even when you watch a show of cops on TV, you can see that they've done illegal things. And what makes them not illegal is when they roll up to someone and they ask, "Can we search you? You don't have anything on you. You don't mind if we search them?" It's like, well, it's the person that what makes it legal is the person allowing them to look and letting them look.
Right.
That person did have the right to say no.
Right.
And basically, if they ain't doing it by the book, it is illegal. But if they happen to find somebody, then the person finds something on somebody, and that person's in trouble. But the sad thing is it's you know, they didn't do it by the book. They're gonna get away with it. You know.
They did not. They didn't do it by the book because they couldn't. They didn't have a reason, obviously, to even have me under arrest. A lot of people have, you know, to me, you should fear for your life now in America. Because if they have the right to kick your door in for no reason, or to grab you off the street for no reason, or to search you, your person, your vehicle with no probable cause, no warrant, just because a cop feels like it, there's something wrong with America. There's a big problem, because that means you, not just people like us or young people or college students, I'm talking about people like my grandparents who are 75 and 80 years old. You know, I would hate to see them harassed or something like this happen to them, or, you know, your grandparents, or, you know, your great aunt. You know, this isn't just, they're not just doing this to young people. They're not just doing this for some sort of crowd control at a certain event. They're doing this to everybody. Everyone is susceptible to this violence, and it's sad.
Now, do you have any points you want to, anything you didn't bring up yet that you want to clear to the people out there?
I want to make it clear to people out there on Spotlight right now that you still are a human being. You are not a subhuman just because you've been arrested. You're not subhuman because you're a prisoner. You're not subhuman if you've been accused of breaking the law. You still deserve to be treated like a human being. You still have rights, civil rights, constitutional rights, and never ever allow anyone to tell you that you don't or forget that.
So basically, when a police officer says you can't tell a cop what he can and cannot do, that is wrong.
That is wrong. And on top of that, don't assume that just because someone's a police officer that they are right, or just because they're a police officer that they're following the law and doing their job. You know, the police officer that's involved in this case, his name's Officer Brian Joseph with the Meadville City Police. He was kicked out of Sharon, Pennsylvania. He was on the Sharon City Police, and he had used so much unnecessary force and gotten in trouble so much over there that they kicked him off. They transferred him off the force in Sharon, Pennsylvania, and sent him to Meadville to be an officer. So that's a scary thought. You know,
yeah,
instead of being fired, this guy's out there. He's a renegade cop. He's abusive. He's ignorant. He's planted evidence. I mean, and he's been reported to a few different organizations that hopefully will be able to handle that. But people need to speak up, Christian. Just like you do and I do, they need to speak up.
What's his officer's
Don't be
name
scared.
again?
His name's Officer Brian Joseph with the Meadville City
Joseph.
Police. He's
Hey,
just
Brian
like
Joseph.
our Officer DeLuca
Hey,
that we
DeLuca.
have here. Hi, DeLuca. You know, that we have here
Hell
up
yeah.
in Erie. You know, hell, I don't know. They could be cousins for all I know. I know they act a lot alike.
Speaking of cousins.
Speaking of cousins.
These guys make cousins look like a joke.
Yeah, Cousins was just kind of,
Yeah.
he said some wrong things and made a bad joke, but these guys here,
Yeah.
they're straight abuse of power. You know,
Maybe we should stop thinking about cousins and start thinking about the real things that doesn't
Yeah.
get media, you know?
Yeah.
Cousins is like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, compared to this cop. And then it's crazy because with the habeas corpus hearing in October, that was the one that was postponed from August, they're actually calling a new cop. And this cop, Officer Stevens, has nothing to do with the case. Lives next door to my boyfriend. Was not an arresting officer, was not there, you know, and now my hearing's been postponed for 2 months because this guy wants to testify, and they say that this officer is in the hospital and that he should be, you know, healed and rehabilitated by then. But I can't imagine what the state is going to have him say, other than the fact that his brother has a house next to my boyfriend and that he frequents over there. I mean, what is there to say?
Yeah, wouldn't that be a
what can he say that
conflict
Officer
of interest?
Joseph already has it? Huh?
A situation of conflict of interest?
I would say so. There's judges that have excused themselves from the case thus far because they're friends with my boyfriend or know me personally. So it's getting into a hinky time. I have been trying to get a hold of my lawyer. His name is Bruce Barrett. And I wanted to file a motion pretty much to have this case pulled out of Crawford County because of the wide coverage that it's been getting down there. I mean, this man Keith Gushard at the Meadville Tribune, he's printed I've been in the paper at least 10 times, as you know. I've been in the paper. You know, I've only spoken to this man once. Yeah, he is like really, really focused on just this story. So I can't imagine how I could get a jury of my peers in a place that has no black or female bus drivers, cab drivers, office workers, court reporters, lawyers. I mean, I'm saying they have a jury of my peers. How could I possibly have a fair trial somewhere that has no black people and very little to none minorities? So my biggest concern is I'd like just a fair trial. I'm not asking for anything else.
Do you have anyone you want to thank for support out there that's been giving you support?
Yes, I would like thank you. I'm thanking Christian with Spotlight TV, most definitely. And I also would like the Prison Society to know that I very much so appreciate their involvement. Mr. Sam Bird, I appreciate his involvement. I appreciate everything that he's doing, not just for me or even for himself. He's doing this for the rights of the people and the prisoners that are out there. And I know that a lot of prisoners don't have access to the internet, but I'd like to say hi to all my girls down there in CCJ. I hope you guys are okay, and I pray for you every day.
It's Paul Williams with Ripping Tattoo Studio, Erie's finest tattoo shop. You just watched a Christian Lestat production.